All right, welcome back. Can't believe it cut me off. I'm not bitter though. Not upset. Anyway, let's get back to the problem because math is way more important. Let's finish what we were starting. If you can't remember, we're back at example number one. We're solving 45 equals 3r. So we're trying to find what r is. Now, you may be able to do it in your head, but what you're doing in your head is actually saying what times 3 equals 45. So what you're doing is you're actually doing the opposite of multiplication. If you go back to our rules, what we're supposed to do is we're supposed to say, and remember here's my textbook. It says number one, identify the operation that's being performed on the variable. So what's our variable? R. So what is going on between 3 and R? Multiplication. So there we go. Multiplication. Now, what's the opposite of multiplication? Division. Exactly. So we are going to divide both sides. Now, whenever I divide, I like writing the fraction bar here because the fraction bar means division. So whenever I divide, the 3's cancel and all I get is r. But remember the balance. If I divide 3 over here on this side of the equal sign, I got to divide 3 over here as well. So what is 45 divided by 3? Well, it goes in one time, get 1, 5, I get 15. So R is equal to 15, which is exactly what they get in our example number one. And then they go back and they check the solution. Let's look at another example where we may have, I would suggest if you'd like practice to solve these here, I'll give you a second. You can pause it now if you'd like, and I'll tell you the answers to number one. We're not going to work it together, but for number one, you should get 3. Number 2, you should get -8. Number 3, you should get -4. And for number 4, you should find 8 as your answer. I hope you got those. If not, then go back through and check your work. Example number 3. Example number 3 is the opposite, division. What happens if we have division going on with the variable? Well, we have d over 12 is equal to 13. So step number one, what is going on between the variable and the rest of the stuff on the equal sign, the side of the equal sign? Division, because the fraction bar means division. So what is the opposite of division? Multiplication. So we're going to multiply. Now, if you look in your book, this may be hard to understand. So what they're doing is they're saying, okay, let's multiply both sides by 12 over 1 because we know how to multiply fractions. But what we do to one side, we're going to do to the other. Well, 13 over 1 is the same thing as 13. So whenever we multiply this, it's just going to be 13 times 12, which they've already done the work, is 156. But what goes on over here? Remember, anytime we multiply fractions, that they cancel. They can cancel. You always look for cancellation. When they cancel, all you're left with is the variable. So we get the variable on this side. Since we multiplied to this side, we got to multiply to this side as well. 13 times 12 is 156. And that is our answer. Who has their phone? Oh, that's my phone. So number 4 is going to do the same thing, but you have to be very careful with number 4. Example number 4. It says n over -8 is equal to 9. Now, what's going on between n and the number? Division. So what's the opposite of division? Multiplication. So we're going to multiply both sides by a -8. Now, here we get just n because we did the opposite. But 9 times -8 is a -72. So your answer is -72. Be careful of the negative sign. So if you like to do skill check 2, I'll tell you the answers to those. Give you a second to pause. The answer to number 1, you have h over 2 equals 19. Whenever you multiply both sides by 2, you get h equals 38. So I hope you got h equals 38. That was number 1. Number 2 is n over negative 5 is equal to negative 14. Here we have division, so we got to multiply. Don't forget the negative. Negative times a negative is a positive, so n equals positive. 14 times 5 is 70. N equals 70. I'd like you to try and go ahead of me if you can. I'm just doing this so that you can check your work. Negative 6 is equal to p over 8. We have division again, so we got to multiply. 6 times 8 is 48. P equals 48. I see many of you raising your hand through the camera. I can see it. You're saying, no, Mr. Powell, it's negative 48. Don't forget the negative. Last one, y. Excuse me. No, I don't have the virus. Okay, stop. I can cough just one time. Y divided by 13 equals 7. What do? Division. No. We're dividing now, so I got to do the opposite, which is 13. So I'm going to multiply both sides by 13. What happens here is since they're opposites, they cancel, they go away. I'm just left with y. Okay? 17 times 13 is 91. 91. It looks a little weird because 13's on the bottom, so what you have to do is, I'm sorry, can you see it? There we go. 13 times 7, 21, is 91. Right? If you have any questions, we're going to Zoom later on in the week. So I would highly suggest you write down any questions you have, but I don't want you to have to wait until we Zoom on Thursday. Please feel free to call me. I've been told that we're able to transfer the calls from the school, so I can even receive it on my personal phone. But if that doesn't go through for some reason, then please reach out to me with email, and I will get in contact with you, and we will work through this. Okay, so please, please, please let me know if you have any questions, and I'll help you. I hope this helps. If it doesn't, go back, rewatch it a couple times, and if it still doesn't help, then reach out to me, and I will help you. So for homework, you were supposed to do the page 539, 8 through 22, the evens, and also 542, 12 through 24, the evens. This is on Edmodo, so just follow the directions there. You can put it on the same piece of paper, that's fine, but please show your work so that I can see what you're doing and I can make comments. But again, if you have any questions, let me know. Hope you guys have an awesome day. We'll see you in the Zoom.